Final score on opening night, number 13, Arizona 93, number 3, Florida 87. Credit where credit is due. Norlander, you've got Arizona in your Final Four against Florida. The Wildcats, they made you look smart. Norlander, I know you knew Arizona would be really good. You made that clear. Did you also know Koa Peat would be so awesome that he could dominate Florida's heralded front court in his first college game at the age of 18?
Did you go back and look where you put Koa Peat on your ballot for preseason top 100 players? Did you look?
Nope.
Was he? Okay. Hey, honesty session here. He was on mine. Was he on yours or no?
Oh, 100% he was
okay,
on mine.
He was on yours. I think he was like, dude, I think he was like 81 on my list.
I'm going to find it right here.
It was embarrassing after the fact.
I don't think I'm nearly as embarrassing as you.
Okay, well, let's find out.
I hope I'm not as embarrassing.
As GP's looking, I had Jaden Bradley on my list. He was in the teens. Like,
God, I'm more embarrassing than you.
Where was he?
He is on my list, but I'm embarrassed to say.
No, you right now, say it. Say it. 97?
I had him
97.1 on your radio FM dial. Where is he?
I had him at 94.
Okay, there we go. But some of the thinking with that, we're going to fail in trying to justify.
Some of the thinking with that was stupid. Just
correct.
What it was.
You know what? It's so fun. This is why we love the sport. Surprises immediately. My thinking was,
why I love the sport. I hate the sport because of shit like this.
I thought that I had Bradley like 15, 16 or something like that. I thought that he was going to be knocking on the doorstep of not being an All-American this season, and he was going to be tremendous. And then you get Peat and Burries. I think I had Burries behind Peat. I know Burries, he might have landed higher on our list. I can't remember. Anyway, Burries was a no-show. He fouled out, had 3 points. He was a non-factor and didn't even matter. But what Peat did was insane. And so, yes, even like yesterday, we published at the USBWA our preseason Oscar Robertson Award Trophy watch list, 50 names. That voting was done last week. Koa Peat's not on the list, and now like immediately it's aged terribly. Let's dive into this game. Yes, 93-87. There's a number of takeaways here, but let's focus on Peat first. He's this to me was the best freshman debut I really want to say ever, but I know Bernard King went off for Tennessee back in the day. It wasn't against the reigning champions that were number 3 that brought their entire front court back. There were great debuts by Lou Alcindor, but he wasn't a freshman. And Lou Alcindor, if he had been able to play as a freshman, he would have been just as amazing. He would have had it, but that's, exception on a technicality.
No, there's no scenario where Lou Alcindor doesn't also dominate Alex Condon.
100%. I think I'm totally good with that hypothesis.
Lou Alcindor would have given Alex Condon the business
without a doubt. But having said that, Peat nonetheless statistically is the first player since at least, and this is any player, not just a freshman, although it would stand to reason all these are going to be freshmen, but you could technically have been a JUCO guy and come into college hoops or whatever, but at least 30 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals in a debut. There had been no one until Koa Peat did it. From a freshman standpoint, to do that against reigning champs, again, they brought back their entire front court, regarded as the best in the country heading in. When we previewed this game on Sunday night, I said I wanted to see how Arizona's front court matched with Florida's because I thought it was actually a really, really good matchup overall. And Peat was absurd. He was ridiculous. He had that one-handed alley-oop lob that they felt all the way up in Reno. He was the first player since Cole Anthony to go for 35 and 5 plus in a debut. Cole Anthony did against Notre Dame in 2019. He was an absolute stud. He announced his arrival with authority. At minimum, he turned the Big 3 conversation into a Big 4. But as I said on HQ, I really do think like it might expand beyond that. Like we really might have 5, 6, or 7 freshmen that play on such a level where it could be a Fab 5 or a Sweet 6, whatever you want to say. Peat is in that conversation right now. He's the front runner for National Player of the Year 2 games into the season. And from a game flow,
Sorry, Braden Smith, it's over for you.
It's over.
It's over for you.
Although he did dominate. He dominated Evans.
11 assists. Yes.
To be fair. Like Matias Krivas wasn't a huge factor. Toby Walker came off the bench and he didn't contribute a ton. The game was largely won by Peat and then Bradley, who had a stretch where he had 10, 12 points in a row for Arizona, including back-to-back possessions where he's like near the rim, but they're off balance, just circus-like shots. Really, really impressive stuff there. So dive in where you want to, GP. let's obviously focus on Zona first. There's another crazy stat on this game, but I'll save that for just a second. I thought it was great to have a game that good. The matchup was good. Then the game was great to open the season. And Pete gave college basketball a wonderful immediate boost by arriving on the stage and arriving ready, and frankly looking like a guy who should be starting right now for the Suns, not even the Wildcats.
I think I know your crazy stat, because when I saw it, I was like, that can't be right. Like, we'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
But I went and actually double checked it in another box score just to make sure. Like, is that really right?
Yeah.
On Pete, I was thinking through this, like, because it's not like he's out of nowhere. Like, who is this? He's five-star recruit, been famous forever, USA basketball, elite performer, projected one and done first round pick. But this is where the conversation gets twisted up. I think most people, ourselves included sometimes, when we talk about freshmen coming in, we tend to think of them as NBA prospects as opposed to what are they going to be in college. So that conversation centers on Darren Peterson, AJ Debonsa, and Cam Boozer, because they are, in most people's eyes, the most legitimate candidates to go first overall in the 2026 NBA draft. And in most mock drafts right now, you'll find them 1, 2, 3 in some order. Koa Peat is not thought of that way as a prospect for obvious reasons if you watch him play. Like, is he a combo forward, or is he a 4-5 small ball 5? Will he ever be a real stretch option? He doesn't shoot it like that. Evidence being that he took 0 threes in this 30-point performance. And so there's some questions about how it translates to the next level, but perhaps there should have been 0 questions about how it will translate to this level, because against what was being described in advance of the game as the best front court in America, with a first-team All-American, whether he should have been or not, a preseason first-team All-American matched up against you, Koa Peat was the best player on the floor, and it wasn't even close.
No, it wasn't. And
he was physically imposing too, as an 18-year-old, physically imposing on older guys who have championship rings.
It was awesome to see. Just the kind of thing that just, again, good for college basketball. The stat that is insane, because it just runs counter to how we even think about how Tommy Lloyd builds out his offense. So Arizona wins against a top 5 team to start the season. Arizona drops 93 points and goes 2 of 5 from the 3-point arc.
They took 5 3-pointers.
That's Parrish. That's amazing. I think it's incredible. They were 1.13 points per possession. They didn't even need to do this. And what's even more interesting is it's not like Fland and Xavier Lee are elite, high-level shutdown guards that are turning off the water from that deep. That just wasn't, whether it wasn't in the game plan or the flow of the game. And the next thing you know, like, Koa Peat's bringing the ball up and they're taking what they're giving them, and it's just working the way it's working. It's rare that you have something like that. I saw, credit to Will Warren, I saw he put this, I think, on Blue Sky. It was the first time since 2011 that a top 5 team was defeated despite the winning side making, not even just taking, but making fewer than 5 3-pointers. When that happened, it was the Johnnies that did it. And who did they beat? Who did the St. John's Red Storm beat back then? Who did they do?
Providence, probably. Oh, the Dukies.
Come on, Duke.
Yeah, they beat Duke. So shouts to Will Warren.
It was Providence.
That's a good stat there. Top 5 team loses despite only having the other side make 5 or fewer 3-pointers. I believe that was the stat there. Big time stuff from Arizona right away. Let's dive into Florida just a little bit. Oh, actually, I got 2 more notes on Zona. Tommy Lloyd, now 22-13 against ranked competition as a coach. It's pretty good, and he's 7-4 when facing top 5 opponents. And if you want one more bit of egregiousness, this is egregious. This is more egregious than where we put Pete on our list. The Big 12 puts out a preseason all-league first team that's 10 players deep, which is stupid, but whatever. Not one Arizona player was preseason all Big 12 first team. Not one.
Yeah, they'll rue the day for that.
They are going to rue.
They're going to rue the day.
Serious ruining.
They're going to rue the day.
some major ruining there. Good stuff by Zona there. And again, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick. So then after 2 of 5 from 3, I was like, okay, is this wildly out of whack? Because off the top of my head, they don't shoot threes under Tommy at Arizona. They were 289th last season in percentage of field goal attempts from beyond the arc. They ranked 281st the season before that, 169th season before that, 223rd season before that. So in a time where the game is shifting in that direction, Tommy has been, I don't even want to say reluctant. I don't even know if that's the right word. They're just not, they don't subscribe to it the way some others obviously do. For instance, just understand something like this. You ready for this? Would never happen in the NBA. Never. Impossible.
But I like that for college basketball that it wouldn't, because I like the counter that it can still happen. I like that. Styles makes fights and all that stuff.
You will never watch an NBA game where only 8% of a team's field goal attempts or something, whatever it was last night or the other night. You'll never see that type of disparity in an NBA game, regardless of who's playing, who are the coaches, anything. It could not happen.
Yeah, and the fact that it can happen in college basketball and you can get 93 in a 40-point game, that's really good stuff. Really good coaching. Great job by the Arizona staff. Let's talk about the Florida side before we move on to the other results. Thomas Houck showed up 27, 2, and 2. He played well. Reinforced my notion that he will be Florida's best player this season. Condon actually got the preseason All-America honor. Some think that it could be Fland if he can really hit. We'll see, but it was clearly Houck, and he was the most consistent player. Xavier Lee had some nice moments, 14 points, but it was on 4 of 13 shooting, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Let him get his sea legs at the high major level. He might turn out to be okay. But Fland and Lee combined I thought as a unit, they kind of displayed a little of why I was just hesitant to put Florida in my top 5. Again, got him easily in my top 15, but it's why I didn't go all in immediately. Fland, 3 of 9, 4 fouls, just 9 points. Condon fouled out. Chinliu fouled out. Chinliu at one point had his jersey ripped. I had never seen that. The front of a jersey just ripped straight off. Had to put on some backup threads there. But those two combined for 15 points and 9 rebounds. Logden was serviceable off the bench. But Florida could not handle the counterpunch because they were up first 10 minutes. Florida was winning the game and it was looking crisp. Like they came out ready. In some ways, it reminded me of my Bears in the first 4 or 5 games of the season where Ben Johnson had this great opening drive script. 4 or 5 games in a row, the Bears on their first possession, they looked great. And then once the game got going, it was like, okay, can we pivot? Florida had a little bit of that with Arizona. Gators had been 33-1 in openers since 91-92. That goes by the wayside. It's just game one. For me, the most important thing is that these coaches and these teams agreed to play each other, and we get a game like this beyond. Florida is going to be okay. It just Arizona has the athletes, has the talent, had the scheme. They got it done. I'm going to, I promise we're not going to, at least I won't overreact too much here. Well, let's give Florida plenty of time here to settle in and see what they're going to be as the reigning national champions. They've got a home date against North Florida tomorrow night. They've got Florida State next week. They've got Miami after that. They don't really play a team that's projected to make the NCAA tournament until Duke on December 2nd. That's at Duke, ACC, SEC Challenge. So the Gators, they're going to be a little bit off the radar for a little bit here. But overall, it wasn't embarrassing. It was just you got out strong, and then Arizona came back on you. And I just want to see how the shooting evolves. Last thing for me on this, GP, is Florida was 7 of 27 from beyond the arc. I did mention that in a couple of our pods leading up into the season. They weren't a great 3-point shooting team last season as well. Now they overcame that. They win the national title. Can they do it again? Roll dispersal hall, all that stuff comes together. I'll be interested to see. Ultimately, it was a 6-point loss against a really good Arizona team that, again, could be a top 10 team this season.
Yeah, I'm not going to get concerned about Florida after a competitive loss to a team that had an all-time great, literally unprecedented performance from an 18-year-old freshman. If you're Florida, you want, one of the questions going in was people think Thomas Houck could be a breakout player after breaking out in the NCAA tournament last season. Well, he looked the part. 27 points for him, and no big deal. Even Tommy Lloyd after the game said, I don't remember exactly how he put it, but it was something along the lines of, I really wasn't thinking, much about winning or losing but like, let's just go play the game. See, it's not that big of a deal. Now, you obviously want to win it. This is one that's you put it in your back pocket and you carry it to Selection Sunday to enhance your resume. But there was no result outside of something that was connected to season-ending injury of a key player that was going to be catastrophic for anybody. It was just a fun basketball game. TNT, I thought, did a good job with it. The studio crew was terrific, and I was glad we had that doubleheader on Monday night, and I was glad that, as we mentioned on Sunday, that Todd and Tommy were willing to make that game happen.